I don't know if any of you have looked outside this morning, but the snow's coming down. I'm watching it fall. I am stoked. I love snow. Love it. What a perfect day to do some drawing, right? So you're gonna be setting up a still life at some point today, hopefully sooner than later. You can use any materials you can possibly find around your house, but make it interesting, okay? I wanna see something cool. I don't wanna see the most boring thing ever. So come up with, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 if you're daring items. Stack them together in an interesting way. Make sure you've got some good lighting where you can see some shadows and all that goodies. And I'm going to do a live drawing for you today, so that way you can kind of see how I would go about it and maybe help you out a little bit on how you can go about it. I don't know what you want to do. We'll just see how it goes. I'm sorry, I keep looking outside because it's snowing. Okay, let's get to it. I'm gonna leave it right here for you to see what I'm drawing the whole time. So hopefully you'll be able to get a very good view of how I'm seeing everything. I need to turn it a little because I can't quite see it. Okay, so first, talking about proportions, if you remember, that is the size of something as to how it relates to the other objects in your composition. So for me, I've got 3 objects. I have my sticky note holder thing. I've got my, why can I suddenly lose all the words? Stapler, and also my stamp. So I need to figure out exactly on my paper how big each of those items needs to be. So let's go to the paper. All right, I'm gonna start by saying the edge of, and always draw lightly first because you will be erasing a lot. All right, so this is gonna be the top of my, why can't I think of the name? Sticky note holder, there we go. Anyways, and then I see a little bit out from that is where it actually ends down here at the bottom. So these are just basic lines so I know the actual size of this bad boy. All right, now in comparison to that, you're always really just looking at the size compared to something else. So if this is how far apart the bottom of my sticky note holder is, I would say maybe 4 times that is how wide the sticky note holder is. So about that big. That's about 1, that's about 2, 3, 4, okay. About that big, does that seem right? Yeah, it's pretty close. Okay, so sometimes you can use your pencil also for size. You use your finger and measure. If you can even see this, can you even see what I'm drawing? Let me turn down the brightness a little. Can you see that better? I hope. I'll draw a little darker. Anyway, so here if I wanted to measure, I could say that's 1 length, 2 lengths, 3 lengths, 4 lengths, and you can do the same on the actual object too. So let me darken this line a little bit. You see that? Awesome. All right, then I'll do my down line here, and I know I really can't see this, but this will just be to help me figure out how to draw the stuff around it. Now in the same distance here is how far I need to do it on this side. So let's also use it right here. So we're looking at like right here-ish. And it appears as though my stapler is behind this front piece, so I need to put it like, and I can do really whatever shape. I mean, it doesn't really look like an exact shape, but it kind of reminds me more of an oval than it does a square. So I see that it goes a little bit above here. I'm gonna draw like this oval-y shape. And it actually goes down below this, so the bottom is like me, something like this. And remember, these are just really basic shapes. You're gonna go, oh my gosh, it's snowing like crazy now. All right, anyway, sorry. Okay, anyways, these are just basic shapes. You're gonna fix a lot of this. That's why you draw lightly. Okay, now let's get a spot for my stamp. It is definitely in front of the corner, that's the corner that I had started drawing. So it's basically just a cylinder. I'm just gonna do very, very basic shape for it right now. I'll go back in and adjust that. It is above this part of the corner also. And you're supposed to be looking back and forth between the thing you're drawing and your paper every couple seconds. I mean, constantly. That's the only way to make sure it's really gonna look right. So, look at your paper, look at the thing, look at your paper, look at the thing, look at the paper, a million times. All right, so after I drew this, I realized that seems too tall, I think, but we'll have to figure that out later. We're just gonna keep on trucking. So I noticed that from this angle, the way I'm looking at my sticky note holder, it is not a perfectly straight line. It is coming down at an angle, so I need to go ahead and adjust that. It's actually more like that to make that angle correct. And then I have to make a parallel line for the back part of this, since that's, I mean, it's of course parallel. I know that it's a straight, perfectly geometric piece of plastic. I don't know how else to say that. Okay, anyway, so let's make a parallel line that goes right along with it. And of course there's the connecting line here. Can you see all this? I think you can see it pretty good. All right, and I can, behind this, it's actually not behind the stapler, I can see this top line, so I need to fix that a little. And this needs to be parallel here too. Does that look pretty parallel? That's pretty close. Okay, so there's the top of my thingy-madoodle. Now let's do the front of it. In the distance, so here I'm looking at proportions again. It looks like the top part of it is about 1/3 of the whole size. So if it goes down to here, then it needs to be about 1/3, which is not about right there. 1/3 of the whole size. And yet again, this needs to be parallel with my top line. If it's not parallel, everything looks all wonky. Okay, there's that line. Now we got to go out to this, and I want to try to make sure that the angle or the slope of this line is the same, and right now I don't think it will be, so I need to make it go quite a bit more down. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty close. All right. Now the other side has to have another parallel line because this is a geometric shape. And it's going behind this guy, but I'm just going to kind of sketch it in to help me make sure it's the same. Okay, good deal. Now I need to draw my line from where that ends, which will just connect those two. And I know there is a sticky note hanging out, so I'm going to actually have to erase a lot of this. But that's okay. This helps you make sure the shapes are actually true, because if you start drawing this stuff in front first, then your background parts of the shape are really not going to look accurate. So it helps to go ahead and do the background shapes or the farthest stuff away and then slowly start adding it. You can always erase. It makes it look much cleaner, I promise. Okay, and I noticed that the bottom part here is actually not straight down. It is tilted in a little bit, and it's also about 1/3. So yeah, I ended up making the top a little smaller. It'll be okay. It's pretty close. 1/3 of the way down, and then it just is another parallel line to this line, and that line, and that line, and that line. Anyway, all right, that's pretty close. And the corner will intercept somewhere here, but I can't see it, so I'm not gonna bother drawing it there. Also, I see that the bottom needs to be parallel to this and this. Oh, that's not right. This and this are not parallel because this is a different slope. So the bottom actually needs to match that, not this. So when I'm drawing this bottom line, I know the corner is somewhere right there. We'll just say right there. Okay, so I'm trying to make it match that line. And really look closely at your stuff while you're drawing. It's the only way to make sure it really looks good, is if you continuously look and look and look and look. The more you look at it, the more you notice. Okay, so this and this are parallel. I'm gonna keep drawing it because I can see a little bit of it through my stapler. That way it'll just be ready whenever it's time. Okay, something like that. Okay, there's my basic shapes for that. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit more shaping on these items. All right, so the top of this is pretty oval. So let's go ahead and do the top here. And if you notice, I constantly am looking back. You should always look. I mean, just look and look and look. It's not gonna make your eyeballs explode. Just look at it. It helps, I promise. All right, so then let's straighten this out a little more. You can see that one on the corner. This one here. It goes down. So now here I'm looking at proportions again. I'm trying to figure out how tall this top part is, the gray part. So in relation to this background, it goes down almost to the very bottom. So it goes almost to right here, which means I think I may have drawn this a little too skinny. Because now that I'm drawing this, it doesn't seem right. It should go all the way to the bottom, but then that makes this top way too long. So now what I have to do, and also, oh, I see where the problem is. I've got the top of this stamp touching this, but really it's way further down. So there's my problem. I need an eraser, and I don't have pencil with an eraser. Is this an eraser? Oh, that's a bad eraser, I can tell. I know I have an eraser somewhere around here. Eraser, where are you, eraser? Okay, I know I have them. Ah, I knew it. Okay, get me a crisp. Oh my gosh, the box is falling apart. Get right in there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Anyway, all right. So, like I said, I noticed this is definitely too high. So I need to erase it. And this is why you draw lightly. Otherwise, I would be having a really hard time getting this where it goes. Okay, so now actually the top is more like, yeah, about right here. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Yeah. Okay, that makes way more sense. So now, let's get this, it's definitely rounded. And then there's like this thing sticking down here. I'm not getting too crazy in the details yet. I'm still just roughing out the basic shape. Okay. Then the bottom, it's not quite in line with that, so I'm just gonna do about right here. And actually, oh no, it's time to switch glasses. Anyway, so looks like when I'm looking at how far this thing goes below my sticky note holder, it's quite a bit down. Like, it's about that far. See, that still looks weird. I don't know. Let's try it. We'll figure it out after we get going. If it starts looking weird, just figure out what it is that's wrong and fix it. That's why you keep looking. Okay, so this has got to be parallel here to make this make sense. This kind of is like a, might use that later. This comes out here, something like that. Okay, that looks too tall. Why does that look too tall? I think it's this. I think this is what needs to change. Let's try it. Here we are erasing stuff again. Good thing I drew lightly. All right, let's see if that helps. That help? I still got this big thing sticking down to about right there. That's gotta fix that. You know, that looks closer, but it's still wrong. It is still somehow wrong. What is wrong with it? I think it's not fat enough on top, I think. Okay, here we go. We're gonna figure this out. We'll get it. So really, it needs to be fatter. And I think my top needs to come down yet again. I still think it might be a little bit too much. Oh, I didn't look enough and now it's not the right shape. Oh, gosh. Practice what you preach, right? Okay, bam, bam. I think that's a lot closer. Except that ridiculous edge. Okay, that's much closer. Yeah. All right, we're gonna stick with that for now. Okay, on to the basic shapes of this stapler. Whew, this thing's tricky. Let's start with this side. So it looks like the very top of it actually starts below this line. Look at my proportions here. Okay, it goes pretty close to this line that I've already drawn, but then the bottom goes crazy inwards and then crazy back outwards. That is some tricky shapes here. And this kind of just comes with practice, doing this part. it goes like kind of out like this. There's like this. And you'll get better, I promise. The more you draw, just start taking a sketchbook around with you and draw everything you see. I mean it. I mean, just literally, you're going out to eat, take a little sketchbook, draw the people while you're waiting on your food. Draw the table while you're waiting on your food. Draw the salt shaker. You'll get better. Okay, so here's this thing. Let's draw it here. This thing goes all the way down to the bottom. La-di-da-di-da. Sometimes I can't see, maybe I need glasses. Okay, that's okay for now. We're just gonna leave it till I figure out what is actually wrong with it. All right, next, I see that the top of the stapler actually is pretty close to this line, so let's do that. It's almost parallel, surprisingly. Then it goes down like that. All right, here's a tricky shape. I think I actually need to make this a little bit wider than the shape I originally drew. Oh, the snow is like crazy right now, and they said it was gonna stop at like 7. Wrong-o. All right, anyway, gosh, I cannot keep my attention. Okay, this goes down, 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 baby, down by the roller coaster. And then like this. Okay, then up here, we've got like this thing. I highly suggest you not picking something as complicated as this stapler. I'm just saying. Okay, then it goes down right here. And it looks like about where this starts curving, that's where this stops. So still looking at proportion really is important. This gets skinnier all the way down. All right, back to it. Man, there's a lot of little gears and pieces. So for now, I am just gonna do this line, which goes here. This line goes here. This line. There's so many little like working parts back here. There's like a, I don't know, something there. We'll go back in and figure this out here in a few, but right meow, I'm just gonna kind of get us some basic shapes. All right, that's close enough for now. This, okay, so looking at, when I'm trying to figure out where to draw or where to start lines, I'm just looking at some other feature that I've already drawn. So in this case, I'm looking at where to draw the bottom of this metal piece that goes here, and I see that it starts right below the curve. So I go down my curve, and I see it starts about right here, and it ends on the other side about there. Okay, so there's that metal thing. Now to do this, the actual staply part. And when I look at where to start that, I'm also looking at something else I've drawn. I see that it starts about the same place as this thing is. So that's where I'm going to start it. And it's very straight. It is also not as far down as this, so I need to stop it. All right, and I can see the top of it actually. It's about right there. And there's some other nonsensical stuff. It's this shape. Okay, all right, it's coming together, it's coming together. Oh, I almost forgot the little metal thingy that goes right here. Okay, that thing. All right, so now I have a very basic outline. Well, how long has this taken? 18 minutes. Okay, now let's start making this look a little bit better by adding some more features. I'm going to start with my camera yet again. The corners are actually rounded, so I'm going to go ahead and round those. And I'm drawing these lines a little darker every time I'm more sure of how it should look. Okay, there is a circle. Wait, no, actually, let's do this little outline that is all the way around it. Oh, I did not draw that right. There we go. Okay. There's this cute little outline. This is very hard without turning my paper. Do you guys turn your paper when you work? I do. Okay. And it goes to here, and then there's this line. This is that green part I'm drawing. All right, now let's do this little circle. It's right on the edge, and then it's got a circle around it. Then I can see it's 3D, so I do my little thing here. Oh yeah, that doesn't look right. I mean, if you're drawing something and it doesn't look right, just keep fixing it. Fiddle with it until it looks right. It will eventually look right, probably. Ugh.
I need a janitor to come to the office, please. I need a janitor to the office.
Glad I'm not a janitor today. Sounds like a lot of work. Okay, now let's do this big camera eyeball thing. What is the actual name for that? Oh, a lens. Good thing I'm not an art teacher. I have to know stuff like that. All right. Then it's actually showing you the little lens here. And it goes, watcha, watcha, watcha. It helps if you make the sound effects. And note, this is still not perfect. I am still finishing it up. Still, after all this time that we've been working. Told you this is gonna take some days, some time. Okay. Oh, there's actually 2 of those. Golly. Lines on lines on lines. Okay. Okay. I noticed something here. Obviously, the top of this is not correct now because the way I'm drawing this big circle, it is now appearing to be over the top of the thing, and that doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to adjust that. First of all, let's finish that lens on there, and now this top has got to be adjusted because that just does not make any sense. All right, let's do, instead of there, let's change this. Let's make that line go up a little higher. Okay, there. See if that works. Oh, now that's not parallel. Son of a gun. Urgh. Okay, all right, that's much better. Then I need to fix that line. I need to fix that line. Okay, it's not perfect. It's pretty darn close. I'm not gonna waste your whole day away just doing that. Okay, something's still wrong. Is it this? Yes, I think that was it. That was just too harsh of a line. Okay, now the little square thing, that would be your flash. I miss Polaroid cameras. I know you guys weren't around for them. They were so cool. You take a picture and it just shoots it out right away. Very cool. It's got like a little star in the middle. Okay. Now we'll do this line that goes down through here. And if you're still watching this, thanks for taking the time to finish it, because I bet a lot of people have already clicked off by now. I betcha. All right, so there's my green stripe there. Still got my line here. My green stripe goes here. That green stripe actually goes down below that. Then here's where the top of that thing starts, sorta. Then it goes down here, and it goes here, and then it comes in here. There's a line, so you can see that it's real. Oh, my tummy is growling, I'm so hungry. Why didn't I eat breakfast? I don't know. Here's my sticky note instead of food. Okay, then my little sticky note, it pops out about right here. And then it curves right over this. Very gently because it's a sticky note. It's kind of stiff. Now I can go back and erase these lines I told you to draw just to make sure you have it straight. Okay, there's there's my sticky note. It's popping out right here. And I'm definitely gonna have to do some good shading here. Make this look like it's actually coming out of there. And this is actually very shaded. Sometimes it's helpful to shade while you go. Sometimes you might want to do it after. That's a personal preference. Would you rather do it after or before? I don't care how you do it, as long as there is shading in fact. Okay, there's that. More darkness there. Okay, there we go. That's good for now. Okay, this whole bottom half here is actually quite a bit darker, so let's just go ahead and give it a shade. Shade, 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 shade. And if I was really taking my time like you guys should be, I would be doing this much more carefully. I'm just trying to be a little bit quicker so you don't sit here and waste your entire day watching me draw instead of drawing yourself. Okay. That's the green line, or would be the green line. This is also going to be shaded. It's white. All right, coming along, coming along. Okay, top, let's shade in my little green part here. Green, green, green. Green, 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 green. Okay, what now? Let's do, okay, so that's gotta be much more rounded. I drew that very not rounded, that's my own fault. Okay, this is also green. The top here curves down. How far does that go? Okay, it comes out like this. Yeah, and then it goes down to about right there. Okay, also green. This is probably a little bit darker towards the front because that shadow from the stapler. Still green. I'm gonna make it a little darker just so that way it makes more sense. This is a lighter green because it's on top, getting the most light. Okay, I think we're making some solid progress here. That's some shade on the corner because the corner is rounded. That makes it look a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Keep in mind, I am also not perfect. No artist is perfect. All right, let's do this thing. It shouldn't take but a second. It's got this little blue part. Let me make this line darker so you can see it. Blue part goes right here. And it curves down in the front. It's rounded. And it's blue, so let's give it some. It's much darker than my green. So when I'm shading this, I want to make sure that it's much darker than this lighter white. Even though it's a shaded white, it's still needing to be darker. Dark, dark, dark. Okay, and this actually needs to be darker, darker because it's coming over the edge here. Okay, done. Now, the edge does actually continue out a little bit, about right there. And then the front of this is a darker gray than the side. We'll leave that almost white. There's like a little thing here. There's a little shape, a little dot. This whole bottom is very dark. I'm not gonna write Office Depot, but if you were drawing this, I would want you to draw it because you've got a lot more time than I do. All right, there's a line. Let's do it right here. And then I need to shade this whole thing nice and dark because it's black. And since it's shiny black, it does have some highlights. And I will add those by doing a little bit of erasing. Same thing for the top here, there's highlights. Highlight right there, highlight here, a little bit there. So here's my highlights on that. There's a highlight here, A little bit there. There you go. You can also make highlights by erasing. It's very handy. On shiny things anyways. It makes a lot more sense that way. Okay, this bottom is shaded. Shade, 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 shade. All right. I've almost finished the stapler, really. It's got this little detail. Obviously the back here is going to be much darker. It's important too when you're drawing from life that you don't make all of your edges, the lines on your edges, extremely dark like a cartoon, because that doesn't really look like it does in real life. So keep that in mind, not to really, really, really darken those outside lines. It should just be enough that you can kind of tell that it's one object's ending and another object's beginning. This is really dark. Mostly it should be shown by your shading and your highlighting. That should be the main way people tell exactly what your shape is. Okay, there's that. This is pretty dark. This is also pretty dark. And if you want to go in the end and erase your lines, you can do that. I don't usually. I just don't really feel the need to. I think drawings look more interesting when you can see how they were kind of sketched out. But that's just me. Not everybody feels that way. And I'll throw in the shadow here. There is a shadow underneath this that is darker at the beginning. The shadow is cast that way. There's a shadow here. This has cast a little bit of a shadow on this side. Let that blur out a little. That shadow continues. There's a definite shadow here. I'll let that thing go. That shadow out a little bit. There's a very small round shadow here for that guy. A little bit darker. Maybe erase this line, I don't like it. There. Okay. There you go. I hope this was helpful in some way. It's been, 31 minutes. So if you watched this entire thing today, then that was pretty much your whole class time. But anyway, set up something interesting. Draw it. You can do a different one every day if you want to. I don't care. But I would like to see at least one very good drawing this week of something you've observed super closely. All right, well, it's still snowing, and I hope it continues snowing, so enjoy this beautiful snowy day. Bye!